Meeting of August 24, 2026. For viewers watching at home, some members of the public may be participating via video conference or teleconference. Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic which stands one nation, under God, indivisible, liberty, and justice for all. Will the Secretary please call the roll?
Commissioner Ferris?
Here.
Commissioner Lanson?
Here.
Commissioner McMahon? Here. Vice Chair Buss?
Here.
Chair Tyler Kettlehut?
Here. Tonight, we have with us Deputy Community Development Director Fabiola Zelaya Meliker. Are there any written comments, announcements, or continuances at this time?
Yes, we do have a supplemental packet that was distributed to the commission and posted containing information related to item number 7-8 for a continuance to a date certain of October 12th.
Okay, thank you. This is
Chair,
now,
well,
yes.
Just one other item with regard to that. So if there's anybody here that wanted to make public comment with regard to that item, I would suggest that they do that during the public comment part of the agenda, not during the item itself.
And if you're going to do that, you'll need to fill out a speaker card, if you haven't already. So, all right, now it's time for public comments. I'd call Randall Witt to the dais.
Good evening. About 2 miles from here, an oak tree now tagged as number 1 began life before Columbus, before the Pilgrims, and before Plymouth. It's stabilizing the Westlake Arroyo system as it has for hundreds of years. This arroyo runs through North Ranch HOA, carrying runoff water from North Ranch Golf Course, Country Club Estates, the estates at North Ranch, Clubview Estates, North Ranch Park, and acres of Costco land. Oak tree number 1 is one of several dozen protected tagged trees which occupy some 15 or so acres of HOA land on one of 13 separate floodplain parcels the WNPOA owns. By agreement with the city, this land was granted to the HOA to properly manage runoff water for the community. Importantly, 16 acres of land recently offered for sale as a preservation opportunity to some well-meaning buyer abuts the parcel on which oak tree number 1 sits. So what happens when someone purchases land which was intended to be preserved but instead decides to attempt development? Without permits, they grub their preservation land and the neighboring HOA land. They take down HOA stop work orders. They hide their address, making themselves difficult to contact. They work outside of environmental protections called for by city and state agency biologists. HOA seeking support from the city doesn't get that support if this happens. And 2 branches of governance, which were supposed to work as partners as dictated by contract 50 years ago, begin looking for separate cover. Never mind that a master arborist, someone representing the top 1% to 2% of arborists, and someone specializing in tree safety, produced a 35-page report filled with tree core data graphs and analyses of root systems, analyses that provide roadmap as to how to manage the specific tree so it could still keep doing the job that it has been doing for centuries. I've monitored this Arroyo system for 8 HOA entities for over 35 years as a West Snake North Property Owners Association board members. I've worked with 3 civil engineers, 2 top quality maintenance teams, and 5 city arborists who understood that as go the oaks, willows, sycamores, and toyons, so goes the structural integrity of the Arroyo walls, which support neighboring homes. Over those 35 years, try as we might, we never once engineered our way out of the damage done to trees without spending large sums of money, and even then, we often met with failure. So where do we stand? Well, the Westlake Arroyo system is adjacent to probably somewhere between $1.3 and $1.7 billion in real estate assets, roughly 1,500 votes, and 750 housing units. Some of the most valuable residential real estate in Thousand Oaks sits along this 3-mile Arroyo course. The question is whether we support each other and past engineering reports and hold the line on tree removals, or whether you as a city and we as an HOA board hang separately. What precedents do we set here by felling oak tree number 1 and not standing with the nature-based soil engineering reports on which our homes were designed and built? Oak tree number 1 isn't a simple vote and walk away issue. It is a change in precedents impacting homeowners who, from my personal experience working with them, can say they get rather prickly in the face of perceived economic losses foisted upon them by failures brought upon by poor engineering decisions. I would suggest when this issue comes up from the board that you focus on arborist integrity and experience when making your decisions. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Witt. Appreciate your comments. We have one other public comment. V. Nguyen is on Zoom. Mr. Nguyen?
Hi, can you hear me?
Ms. Nguyen, sorry.
Hi, good evening, V. Nguyen for Council for Ranch Thousand Oaks. I am calling today, or appearing solely to clarify the record regarding the continuance. The supplemental packet states that Ranch requested the continuance, which we did, but for completeness, I just want it to be clear that Ranch requested the continuance in response to the staff report and the proposed amendment to the governing methodology circulated last Thursday, which raised a new expert report, new issues, and require adequate time for review and response. I also want to make clear that Ranch hasn't agreed to October 12th as the continued hearing date. As we see it, there's a sequencing issue. The commission has not yet acted on the proposed amendment that may determine the methodology for governing Ranch's application. And until that issue is resolved, Ranch can't know what standard is expected to address or what supplemental briefing will be required. So accordingly, Ranch's request for continuance should not be construed as agreement that October 12th provides sufficient time, or as a waiver any procedural or substantive objections. And we ask that those points be reflected in the administrative record. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I don't have any other cards. Do we have any other public comment, Lori?
No, we do not.
All right, thank you. Next, we have the consent calendar with the minutes of July 6, 2026 Planning Commission meeting. Do any of my fellow commissioners have any comments or motion to approve the consent calendar?
I'm sorry, I have a correction
Okay.
to the minutes. A couple. The roll call should only note that Vice Chair Buss and Commissioner Lanson were absent. And in the first motion, the words "to approve the consent calendar" should be removed. And the vote on page 2 should be 3-0, not 3-1. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. Do we have someone who'd like to make a motion?
Motion to approve the amendment, the minutes as amended.
Could you prepare us for a vote, please?
Commissioner Ferris?
Yes.
Commissioner Lanson?
Abstain.
Commissioner McMahon?
Yes.
Commissioner Buss?
Abstain.
Chair Tyler Kettlehut?
Yes.
Motion carries 3-0 with Commissioner Lanson and Buss abstaining.
Thank you very much. We now move on to the hearing for tonight, and there's been a request for continuance. Is there a motion that one of my fellow commissioners would like to make? Oh, no?
Before, I'd just like to make a couple
Please.
clarifications based on some of the public comments.
Please.
There's a request to continue the item to a date certain, and the purpose of that is for noticing purposes. So that's why we're doing that. I will note that the Planning Commission doesn't meet every day, right? And so we can't agree on a specific date, and there's no obligation for the city to come to an agreement on a date. We're going to schedule the meeting when the Planning Commission has time to review the item. But for purposes of this evening, we're asking for a continuance to the date certain. If further down the road, that date is not available or doesn't work for whatever reason, then we can continue it again.
Can we push it beyond October 12th?
I think for right now, my recommendation is to move it to that date because we know, at least right now, that that's an available date where we could have the hearing.
Okay. Okay. Anything else?
Nope, that's it. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Any comments?
Question of the city attorney. There was a reference to one of the reasons why their council said they were not necessarily in agreement for it was because of the change we had on this particular one about amending the rules of what the concerns were, and that somehow that needed to be resolved before they felt comfortable with it. Are we planning to just take what we've got on the agenda and that's with the plan, or would there be any change?
I don't have any information as to what will or will not be on a future agenda.
Fair enough.
Any other questions? Would someone like to make a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve the continuance.
To the date certain of October 12th.
To the date certain of October 12th.
Thank you.
Could you prepare us, I can speak tonight, prepare us for a vote.
Commissioner Ferris?
Yes.
Commissioner Lanson?
Yes.
Commissioner McMahon?
Yes.
Vice Chair Buss?
Yes.
Chair Tyler Kettlehut?
Yes,
Motion carries 5-0.
thank you. We have no department reports this evening. Now we move on to 1234 reports. Are there any AB 1234 reports? Any comments from my fellow commissioners? Oh, I thought you were raising your hand there. Yes.
Just one comment, given that today is the 24th of August, our next meeting is scheduled to be September 14th. In that intervening time is a recognition of the 25th anniversary of the September 11, 2001 tax on the country. I'm wondering if we would be kind enough to adjourn the meeting in the honor of those that lost their lives on September 11th prior to that commemoration.
Yeah, no, I would agree with that, for sure, for sure. Let's see. Ms. Zelaya Melkar, are there any follow-up items, announcements, or upcoming issues?
Yes, we do have upcoming items for tomorrow night at the City Council meeting. There will be on September 15th a public hearing on the Community Development Block Grant CBDG Consolidated Annual Performance and Evaluation Report, known as the CAPER. For Planning Commission upcoming items, we have a public hearing on September 14th for amendments to the Amgen Center-specific plan. With that, there's also a proposed 75-high building and subterranean basement and a protected tree permit at 701 Pauline Drive. And there will also be a public hearing to consider legalizing unpermitted improvements at a single-family residence on Reed Road. On September 28th, forthcoming, we have a public hearing to allow construction of additions to single-family residence on El Verano Drive, and a public hearing to allow a realignment of a previously approved driveway configuration with a protected tree permit on Skelton Canyon Circle. And those are all the upcoming items. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll now adjourn to the next meeting on September 14th at 6 p.m.